Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another G2KAPA Get to Know a Person Already. And today I'm with my good friend Alex. Alex, welcome back. You were on the first iteration.
Yeah, it has been a journey since our last interview.
It has been a life journey. It has been a content journey. We'll talk about your content, where it was, where it is, and where it will be in the future, because I believe in it, but also a weight loss journey. So I do want to kick off something to show, and I haven't really talked about a lot of the past interviews have talked about previous iterations of G2KAPA, used to be for the wrestling community, but I do want to share this picture of our first interview that I have titled lovingly Fat Us.
Uh,
So, you know, it's crazy because I was probably like 44 in that picture. So I'm down at least 200 pounds since that picture. You've lost what, 140, 150?
I'm at about 130 because, like, as much as I love weight loss, I love crumble cookie just a little bit more.
19 days ago, okay, was this young man your birthday, yes? And
Yes, indeed.
I did see a post that you had earned and deserved a crumble cookie cake. Did you actually eat the entirety of one, or was that a meme?
Oh, absolutely. Like, Mama did not raise a quitter. Like,
Okay.
leftovers are for quitters.
So I literally did have crumble on my list because I had seen this and I was curious, like, are you a crumble guy or was that just a one-off thing? Or like, I know you're keeping the weight down, but
So originally I was not a crumble guy, and like someone had brought them into my office where we worked, and I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. Like, these are giant cookies. What in the world? And I tasted it, and I was like, all right, I get it. Like, I'm gonna have to fit this into my calories somehow.
bro, I can fairly fit it into my mouth. Like they have to give you like a cake cutter. Here's a mistake I made. I am a crumble guy, and not now. I've completely cut them out. I haven't had one in probably 6 or 8 months, but I was hardcore into these. The mistake I made was the first time I ever got one. I ordered it on like DoorDash or something. So I got like a box of like four, where it's like the whatever, because I didn't realize what I was getting into.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
they're like, it's like a cake. Like each one
yeah.
of them's
It's
like a whole.
it's
You can't eat more
it's
than one.
like it's the size of my ego, you know.
I don't think they make anything the size of my ego. So what? And I didn't intend to like jump off with crumble, but hey, we're here. Okay, how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, yeah.
um, so what is your go-to? Do you have one that you're like when you see it come in the rotation, you're like, I gotta get this one?
Okay, so there's two. Like, it's either cookies and cream or it's anything with Biscoff.
Okay.
Like, I am obsessed with Biscoff cookies. I don't understand what makes them so good, but like when I get on flights and stuff and they're like handing out those Biscoff cookies, like I'm in heaven. Like, other people are just like, "Yeah, these are all right." And I'm like, "These are the greatest things I've ever had."
One, when you're in a flight, that's probably as close to heaven as people would assume. Two, the backdrop, like your chair, kind of looks like a Biscoff wrapper. Three, when are you going to admit that you take flights now just for the Biscoff?
I mean, if the flights were cheaper, I would. The unfortunate thing is
Unfortunately,
they sell them in stores. So,
I didn't find out till after I took 37 flights. Okay, so
oh,
that's my I became a frequent flyer. I earned a lot of miles, and then I found out they sold them, at the store by me. I do actually have a crumble dangerously close to me where I live, but I've still been good. I've been very good about it. But what I did intend to start this off with is something that is near and dear to both of our hearts. You probably can't tell. I don't know if you can tell. This is a
it's
cleverly disguised Dungeons and Dragons shirt. It looks like flowers. They are flowers, but
it
they have
is.
dice inside of them. So like a D12, D20, all that. And a lot of people didn't notice it. I got so many compliments on the shirt, and I pointed out, they're like, "Oh wow, that's cool." They're like, "Stop talking to me, nerd." But so, as a lot of the other people that I've talked to on G2KAPA so far, we met through content creation.
Mhm.
And something that I love about you and how we met was I met you through D&D talk, through Dungeons and Dragons TikTok. So what was that experience like? Tell me first, how you got into D&D, and then how you got into D&D TikTok.
So the D&D is it's just like one step in my nerdum journey. Like I was the person that was like, you know what, I'm never gonna play a card game. Like I'm very nerdy. Like I love like game shows, things like that. Like that's the kind of nerd I'm gonna be. And then like I got to college and my roommate was like, hey, you wanna play this game called Yu-Gi-Oh? And I'm like, sure. And
I was talking Yu-Gi-Oh at work today.
And I was like, I went to my first friendly local game store, and it's like, you know what? I'm going to play Yu-Gi-Oh, but I'm not going to be that nerd that plays Magic the Gathering. And then, like, that friend went
And
off
then we
somewhere.
gathered.
Yes. Like, the friend that I played Yu-Gi-Oh with left, and I was like, oh, well, here at college, everyone gathers around, like, the cafeteria tables, and they're playing Magic. And I'm like, okay, let me see what it's into. And, yeah, I just started getting into Magic. And then as I went back to the store, I'm like, you know what? I'll be a Magic player, but I'm not going to be that D&D nerd. And then the D20 struck. Like, it was a nat 20, just like my fixation right there. And from there, it was, you know what? I want to get like all of my friends together from college. Like the friends that I had made since college. I'm like, I just want to get us all together and do something. So I started learning the rules of D&D and I became the dungeon master and had no idea what I was doing. Neither did they, so it was totally okay. And from there, it just move after move after move.
Love it. So, okay. So you got into D&D. Do you do any other tabletop? Do you do like Catan or anything like that?
So I do play a lot of board games. Not so much anymore, just because like the time commitment and like having people to play games with. Like it's being an adult sucks, man.
Being social is hard too. It's just like
You're speaking the gospel,
the internet exists, you know.
right? Like I could sit at home and play video games and not think about anyone else.
So speaking of that, are you currently slaying the spire? From what I see.
Yeah. So that'll jump into like content creation into the future. I'm currently preparing some Slay the Spire action to try and dip back into content creation.
Okay, well, we'll get into your future plans. Speaking of content creation, though, let's go back to D&D. How did you transition to D&D Talk?
Yes, so I joined TikTok like most every other person did during the pandemic, sitting at home bored. Actually, it was Scorpio Sky, wrestling related.
Yeah.
He had a TikTok that I really enjoyed. It was like because it was along the Black Lives Matter movement. So like he did this where like he had walked outside and he was just like, yeah, it's a great day to be out here. And then police sirens and he's just like, nope, and turns back around. And so I just like from there I started like cultivating my For You page and I found like all these D&D memes and I'm like, you know what? I could do D&D memes. I'm a D&D creator. Like I play D&D. I can do this. And yeah, I hopped into D&D Talk that way.
So some might say you just rolled the dice to see how it would go.
Sure did.
But that's how I found you, was D&D TikTok. I was a huge fan. I watched a lot of creators. I don't even remember who all I used to watch back in the day because that was a huge part of my FYP. Mm-hmm. But you and then a few people I met through you were the only people that I really talked to because you were part of like a podcast or whatever that I had gone on to, who then we had one mutual friend was on there that I'm still friends with today. Shout out to friend. But, you know, was Katz on that?
He was, yeah.
Because he was cool. He came and hung out with us for a little bit. Do you guys still talk?
Oh yeah. Like I was.
What was his Cats with Dice? Is that his shout out? Cats with Dice.
Fun fact: the man flew me out to Wisconsin just to be the best man at his wedding.
Oh, that's amazing!
Absolutely.
So I'm glad I gave him a shout out. Shout out, Cats with Dice. There we go. But yeah, so I remember watching that, and I was a big fan of that. What got you? And if it is what I think it's going to be, it's going to annoy me. But what got you into like the wrestling side of TikTok?
So I was again scrolling through the FYP, and like there was a Scorpio Sky thing, so like wrestling
Oh,
was already a part of it, and I was running
they
into
knew.
like yeah other wrestlers and stuff like that. And then I ran into a couple of promo TikTokers, um, and they had like a feud going at the time, and from there like I found out about TTWF, the promotion that you were a
Was this
big
Ryan
part
and
of.
Josh, or who were the first two?
It was Josh and Matt Thomas.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And then from there, like I ran into Lou, Mr. Professor, Macho Fan, you, and like just from then on, like I think I followed you, and you had done like try not to react to wrestling themes
Mm.
back when you were doing that. And like I had like followed, I'd liked, I'd commented, I'm like, you're not gonna get me. And then like you followed me back, and I'm like, what do I do? I don't know what to do with my hands.
Hey man, as the D&D content, you pulled me in, bro. That's all that mattered. But okay, so I want to jump into another type of content that you created, though.
Mm-hmm.
So we've gone through D&D TikTok, wrestling TikTok, but one thing that got me very excited was you started making, you were streaming, you were making Pokemon content.
Yes.
So what was it? Was it the Nuzlocke challenge? What was it? Nuzlocke?
So I had tried a couple Nuzlocks, and it did not work out for me very well.
Okay.
Um, what started the like down that road to streaming was I was like, I had done something with my family for Thanksgiving like a little bit before, and I was like, well, I want to do something nice for my community because like I had enough to go live on TikTok. And so I was like, well, what if I streamed myself playing Pokemon on Thanksgiving? So that way, like people that don't do anything for Thanksgiving, they don't have family to go see, friends to hang out with, like they're alone, like it breaks up that monotony of loneliness. And just from there, like I was like, oh, I can actually stream because my internet is awful. It's better now, but it's still not the best. Um, but like I started doing like random Pokemon, like I did playthroughs of Pokemon. The proudest thing are speedruns. I've done speedruns of Pokemon.
That's what it
Uh,
was. I remember watching the speed runs too. I just remember you taught. So I did want to talk about this because before we get too far away from this,
yeah.
that is such an admirable thing for the streams. Because I remember you would put that out that you were doing it to kind of be like, the way I looked at it, like a support system for people during the holidays and stuff like that. And as somebody who, I don't get too personal on a lot of social media and stuff, but I've lost most of my family. I have very limited. It's basically just me and my sister and her kids, but and I have another nephew. But other than that, like I really have no family, right? So I saw that as like a very admirable thing. I think a lot of people don't necessarily think about that. And one thing we have talked about in some other G2KAPAs, and I do want to focus on in a lot of content, is mental health, because I think that is very important. We have a crisis in this country and around the world of mental health. So I do want to say I appreciate that. That's very admirable, and just shows the content of your character, good sir.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. I don't care about me. Like, I wanna use my platform to benefit others, whether it be charities, whether it be like trying to be a support system for other people. Like, I don't want things to be about me. Ironically, on a podcast focused solely on getting to know me.
Here's the thing though. I love that because I feel like the people that are the most successful in just general are the people that don't focus internally, they focus outwardly. I definitely think that great things come to people with that mindset. My personal belief is I want to be a spotlight on other people, which is why you're here. So I'm trying to spotlight the people that I think deserve it, and that I think maybe don't advocate for themselves and their growth and their journey as much. So I am excited to see the potential of you making content again in the future. But I do remember watching the speed runs. That was one of the big things that I would jump in for, because that was exciting times, was the speed runs. Because that was like for the shinies, right? Is that what it was? It would be. I know there were
The
shiny. journeys and stuff or whatever. But
Yeah, I've done like shiny runs, but like the speed runs were just like I focused solely on Sword and Shield, like the generation before this one, and
yeah, yeah.
like it was just beating the game as quickly as possible. And I can't remember like my times exactly, but I do know that I hold two unofficial world records still to this day.
Oh yeah.
Um, I did get beat technically, so like it's not the official world record, but they had to use turbo controllers to beat me. So I think I'm the winner.
They had to cheese it. They had to
Yeah,
fudge the dice, as they say. So from that time, because you were going pretty hard on content at that point, right? When you were streaming, you were doing that quite a bit. So what changed?
well, I started my weight loss journey, and come to find out, when you cut out like a lot of sugar out of your diet, your energy levels just kind of. So like I didn't have like the energy to stream. Like my time was like really shifted into different avenues. Like I ended up getting a side hustle at one point because like I needed to make some extra money just for like financial goals. Um, and just like general life things kind of got in the way.
I get that. Okay, so you've lost the weight. You're looking great, by the way. People saw the pic.
Yeah.
Okay, you're looking phenomenal. Okay, what is the future of content from Alex Creates Plenty? Is it still going to be Alex Creates Plenty, or what is it going to be?
I mean, like it is a catch-all. Alex does in fact create plenty.
Okay.
My goal at current, I'm trying to work out logistics. I'm thinking I want to take like a YouTube trajectory instead of like a Twitch and live stream trajectory, because with YouTube you can sit there and like, hey, I have a free day, I have 2 free days, I can sit there and like pump out like tons of videos and like just edit them throughout time and be able to upload them like on a schedule where
Are you
like
doing like a
live.
play with me type thing where it's like a just a playthrough and then you just chop it up into sessions, or
What I'm wanting to do is play through Slay the Spire, which Slay the Spire 2 is coming out in 2025, and I have like 100 and some odd hours in the game, but I am absolute garbage at it. So what I want to do is play the game to a point where I feel I am better at it. So like I just want to go through each character. There's like 20 ascension levels for each character. So I want to try and beat all 20 ascension levels for each character, including defeating the heart, not defeating the heart, and try and be like a middle ground for people that are like beginners that are like, oh, hey, I can learn from this guy. And also like advanced players to go through and look and be like, oh, I was at this point once, and like here's some pointers to try and get better. Something along those lines.
okay, I feel like I'm down for that, man. I think that's really good. I also think we could talk more about this. Of course, I'm doing Viewcount. Viewcount's a content creator group. It's kind of what we're doing. You're on the Viewcount channel right now. You'll be on the Watch Viewcount channel. But the whole point of that is I'm trying to help people, with the knowledge that I gained from my many years of making content. And, I am a verified YouTuber. I've had brand deals, I've signed contracts, I've done a lot of things that some smaller creators haven't, had the opportunity to do and help them navigate those waters. So I'm looking forward to hopefully, once you're creating more content and stuff, we can get you featured on some of our podcasts we're going to be doing or whatever. I'm excited for that. But I'll definitely be a viewer of the YouTube. Will you eventually get back into streaming, you think? If it takes off, is that something you do want to do, or?
Yeah, I do want to get back into streaming. I just want to like make sure that I have dedicated time to stream, because like I don't want to be one of those streamers. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna stream like one week it's gonna be on a Monday and the next week it's gonna be on like a Thursday. Like I want to have that set schedule so that way people can like reliably know reliably know the schedule and can come in and you know
Consistency is key.
yeah.
Like, that's really what it is. Like, people get used to it. It's formulaic, and then they know when and where to find you. They rely on you. I'm bad at that, horribly bad at that. But I can't take my own advice, but okay. So we're about 20 minutes in. I want to jump to what previously on G2Kappa used to be known as the lightning round. Now it's just some questions that I want to ask just because. Um, so obviously out where you're at, they have Publix. I don't have Publix here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's the Publix haul?
Or you're talking about the sub, right?
Yeah. Like, what are you getting? What are you going for? What are you?
I mean, if I'm going to get a sub from Publix, it's going to be a chicken tender sub.
Okay.
Lettuce, tomato, bread and butter pickles, or garlic pickles, whichever one they have. No sauce because, like, I'm trying to die while eating my food.
Okay.
But I will also, like, if I'm in town on a Wednesday at Publix, I will go get their sushi. $5 sushi, can't beat it.
That sounds like a trip to the bathroom, but I mean, hey, I've heard good things.
I watch them make it. They make it in store, so it's not one of those like, oh, we're just gonna ship it in and hope for the best. No, they make it fresh.
Well, because that's why I'm like $5 sushi sounds like gas station sushi. Like that's why I'm like, all right, well, good luck. Yeah, may your butthole be blessed. Okay. Jumping into more Pokemon questions, but this is like a little bit of a blend. What is your 3 Pokemon team? If you can only pick 3, what 3 are you picking to be on your front line?
Oh, okay. So I mean, like, I'm not here to win, obviously. Okay. But like 2 of them are back here. I have my Morpeko. Okay. I have Porygon. 2 of my favorite Pokemon of all time.
Morpeko season right now, by the way. I just got 2 of them because it's Halloween time. So Pokemon Go, I just got 2 of them.
I am so ashamed of myself. I deleted Pokemon Go. I'm a Pokemon Sleep stan now.
Well, yeah, because the Pokemon data it sounds like a joke, but that's actually a thing now.
Yeah.
Because my Pokemon Go thing wants to track my sleep. So.
Yep. I have my Pokemon Go Plus that connects to my it works as a sleep tracker.
Oh, I have mine too. I use it when I'm at work. I put it in my backpack to carry my laptop around. I kick it on and I just walk. So like I'm just the IT guy booking back and forth, just getting Pokemon, man.
I thought that was going somewhere different. Like I thought you were going to be like, yep, I hit that button and I catch a quick nap at work.
No, I'm all over the place. Okay, so we got Morpeko, Porygon. Who's the third?
Oh man, you know what, Mareep. Like I got to go with the 3 favorites. Like we're not going full Ampharos. Like Mareep is fluffy, it's adorable, it will shock you to death, and I am for it.
Okay, very cool. I dig it. I'm a laughy guy. I'll go with that. Yeah. Okay. But good team. Here's my flip on that though. G2KAPA flip question. What is the Pokemon at the end of your dungeon crawl?
Oh, Oddish.
Oh, okay. More unassuming too. Not even go with the evolution. It's like more unassuming.
There is a backstory to this. So one of the streams, one of the first Nuzlockes that I attempted, actually it's happened in 2 or 3 Nuzlockes that it's happened. I have ran into an Oddish, and it has almost wiped me every single time. So like,
love it.
Me and Katz have a running joke back and forth where he will make a mention of Oddish to me. I will make mention of Wobbuffet to him, and we will just go our separate ways.
So I'm assuming, did Wobbuffet wipe him or come close to wipe him, or is that what, like his demon Pokemon?
He has never told me why he hates that Pokemon as immensely as he does, but I use it to my advantage.
Okay. Smart. Knowledge is power. Speaking of knowledge is power, something we didn't talk about at all in this episode, mainly because I don't really know how deep we could go into it that people would actually watch, but I'm still going to ask this question. I love Excel. You love Excel. You excel at Excel, and you are excellent at excelling at it. If you were an Excel formula, what would it be, and what would you solve?
Ooh.
I like cross my arms like, and take that.
Like that was a good one. Was not expecting that one.
I have to throw an Excel one at you. Like our friendship depended on it.
Like it's probably got to be like some sort of if-then statement. in the most convoluted fashion to where like uh as soon as you master it, you feel like you have conquered the world.
Okay.
But it takes you a really long time to get there.
Okay. I dig that. I love it. Okay. So we are crafting, you are the dungeon master. Okay. You
Mm-hmm.
are crafting your ideal group of 4 people. It can be celebrities, it could be content creators, it could be your friends IRL. Name your 4-person D&D group and what classes they would be.
Oh, okay. Uh, Dang, these really hard hitting questions.
I try to cater it a little bit, you know? It's the hard hitting
Um,
stuff.
I mean, there's. I feel like I need to have Brandon Cutler on there, AEW
Yeah.
wrestler, producer, whatever it is he's doing nowadays. To contract Cutler on the squad, possibly see him as. I could see him as a sorcerer.
Okay.
Um, I feel like I have to have you on there, just for a bit of chaos. But I
That
see you
facts.
playing something like I feel like you would come in and I would suspect the chaos, but you would just be like, "No, I'm just gonna play a human fighter. I want to see how this goes. I'm just gonna be middle of the road. I'm here along for the ride." Um, my buddy Jamie, who plays one character and one character only, Lil Mo, a goblin bard. Uh, his whole reason for playing D&D was to agonize me because I bugged him so much. He's like, you know what? Fine, I'm going to do it. And he's going to be the actual Chaos Goblin, not just in race. But
I feel like me and Jamie together, though, is just chaos in itself. So that's
I
my,
mean, I would be here for it. Like, you haven't seen my playgroup and how chaotic they are, so I don't think that. I think you'll try, but I don't think you'll get that far.
Okay.
Um, and I this one's kind of a fun one. Fictional anime character, Light from Death Note,
Oh,
uh,
nice.
because he would be like the min maxer warlock, fighter, multi-class. Like he would try and break the game.
Okay. I'm all
So
about that. That's a
I
good group.
yeah, I think that's my 4.
Okay. I'll bring some apples so I can reuk it, you know, and do it up. I love that. I think that would be a really fun group. Let's make that happen in the way that it possibly cannot possibly ever happen.
I mean, it would last 2 sessions and I'd get bored of it.
Okay. I do eventually one day want to, my hope and dream is that one day you get back into content creation where you're comfortable, you're vibing. Viewcount gets to where I'm hoping it will with the team we're getting behind us, and we can have a Viewcount D&D stream, like a weekly thing where we have a game, content creators. I would love that. So that's manifesting it. Okay.
I mean, I'm 100% down.
So switching gears,
Mm.
and I've asked a couple other people this: if you were a museum curator, what would your museum be, and what would be in it?
Ooh. I mean, honestly, because like I've heard you ask this question, so I've had time to think about the answer, and I have not come up with a good answer.
Okay.
I think it might be like a museum of charities,
Okay.
like just different charities throughout time and like what they hope to accomplish in the world, what they have accomplished in the world. Just a nice little conglomeration of charitable actions.
Nice. I actually dig that. That would be interesting because, like, I think about it. Like, I donate to a few random charities, like ASPCA, like Cancer Society, stuff like that. But like, I have no like. This probably sounds horrible. I have no idea what they do. I just like. I'm just like. I feel like I'm just doing something, you know, to be like, I'm not helping anything. So here,
Yeah,
take my money. You know, like.
Like I don't know all the charities out there, but like the ones like I do my research because one of the things that from that previous picture, I had long hair. My hair is not as long anymore.
Was it 27 inches? What
I
was
have
it?
donated 27 inches of hair. I started growing my hair out in 2016, and as of today, I've donated 27 inches of hair.
I don't remember everything, but I remember some things. 50% of the time, I'm right. 20% of the time.
Numbers make the world go round, man.
There you go. Flipping gears one more time, because that's what we do around here. G2KAPA, we flip gears. Okay. That is not a catchphrase. What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
All right. So this one I do have an answer for.
Okay.
I had a middle school teacher. I will give you the verbatim quote that he gave, and anyone can interpret it however they want. Insert deity here. He said, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. If you listen twice as much as you speak, you will learn a heck of a lot more.
That's like that's one of those like old school, like very hard hitting though. Like it's definitely like it's so direct. It's so like it's an accessible thing. Like everybody can understand that because I mean
Yeah.
I can't say everybody. For the most part, everybody has 2 ears,
Like
1 mouth. I
the
don't
man,
think.
like that man was very wise, but like his advice was very hit or miss.
Do you have a miss? Like because now
Uh,
I want to hear some weird shit he said.
So, like, this one, like, at the time wasn't bad, but, like, growing up, I realized how terrible it is. Because he said, when you are writing an essay, it needs to be like a woman's skirt. It needs to be short enough to cover the subject, but long enough. Or, sorry, long enough to cover the subject, but short enough to keep it interesting.
Keep your interest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, like, I'm like, that's great
only slightly
advice.
problematic to tell a child.
I mean,
You know?
yeah. Like, middle schoolers, whatever.
I do get it though. Like it does translate. Like I understand what he's going for,
Yeah.
but not as good for the children's as the other one. Okay. So before we get to the last one, which you already know what this is, but before we get to that, is there anything that you want to talk about before we wrap this up?
So there is one thing that I want to mention.
Okay.
It's kind of a shameless plug because I believe if the date this goes out is the date that you told me originally, we should be like at the tail end of Desert Bus for Hope, which is a live stream from a Canadian comedy troupe, Letting Ready Run. They live stream themselves playing the Sega CD game, Desert Bus, which is honestly the worst video game ever created. Penn and Teller created this in response to the all video games are violent, it's terrible, nobody should be playing video games. So they made a game where you drive a bus from Tucson, Arizona to Las Vegas, Nevada at 40 miles an hour in real time. It takes 8 hours on a straight road. And once you get that 8 hours, you earn a point and head back the other direction.
Bro, I may have driven that. I drove through Tucson and I drove up through Vegas and Reno. Because I was like from Reno to Vegas was like 6 hours or something. I'm wondering if I drove. I'll have to play this. I want to know.
Yeah,
Or
like
watch this to see the thing.
Like there's emulators out there. I can't remember. I'm gonna see if I can look it up real quick.
There's got to be a way to get the ROM for this. Yeah, there's got to be a way to get a ROM for this because I want to play this now. Not that I have access to a Sega CD somewhere, but if I can get a ROM of it.
But they play this game and they oh goodness.
Also, side note, while you're saying that, I believe this comes out November 12th is when we're shooting for, if that works. If that's within the time frame. There we go.
So Desert Bus starts on November 8th this year. So it should be, and it usually goes about a week because the way that they play this game is it's on an incremental system where like the first hour, like if you donate $1, they play for an hour. And then they go up by 7% each time. So it's like the second hour is $1.07 and then so on and so forth. until the number gets so astronomical that they're not able to raise that amount of money for the next hour. And it takes roughly a week, maybe 8 days. Like by the time it gets up to like $1 million raised, you're looking at like 7.5 to 8 days.
Oh, wow.
They've been doing this for so long at this point.
Because I'm thinking, I'm like, I definitely did not drive it at 40 miles an hour, but I'm like, I'm just very curious what this route is. Like, that's piqued my interest now.
Yeah, and you can't sit there and just like hold down you can't tape down the A button and walk away because the bus veers slightly to the right. So like you have to sit there and like
actively
move the bus to the left because if you crash, a tow truck comes and gets you and brings you back to your original destination at 40 miles an hour in real time.
Bro.
Yeah.
That's like getting over it. Like,
yeah.
that's like OG getting over it, where it's just like, that makes you want to not be around anymore. Okay, so, but good shout out. I like that. That's a good shout out. So what was this called one more time? The name of the...
It's Desert Bus for Hope. You can find information at desertbus.org. They're also going to be on Twitch, twitch.tv/desertbus. All money that's raised is donated to Child's Play, a charity that allows hospitals to receive books, games, video games, things to allow children, teenagers that stay for long periods of time in the hospital some relief that's not just like laying in their bed all day.
Shout out too to those programs, because when I was a kid, and this was obviously not that, but when I was a kid and I had surgery and I had to stay in the hospital for a little while, they had a Super Nintendo and I had to play the Ninja Turtles game. So shout out to whoever donated that to my hospital back then.
Better when like I had my tonsils taken out. They brought an N64 and I got to play Mario Kart.
I'm an old man, okay? Super Nintendo was cutting edge technology in my day, okay? But yeah, so that's cool. Good shout out. I love that. Okay. So thank you so much for being on. Of course, we've been friends for many years now. We've gone through many iterations of each other and we've grown, but yet still together.
Yeah, we're in our glasses era right now.
That's right. I refuse to get contacts. They've tried. I won't do it. I can't do it.
Don't put things in my eye. I don't want that.
Yeah, no, stay away. I want to get into a whole like, but one day these will break and they'll be like Twilight Zone. I'll be like, now I have time to read. No. Okay. Anyway, for the like 7 people that'll get that reference. But thank you so much for being on. Of course, I'll have you on again in the future, especially once you're doing amazing, phenomenal, great things that are going to be coming out of you with the content that I know you're going to have coming out. And once your multi-million viewer count on YouTube blows up, hopefully you'll remember us and come back. But thank you so much for being on. I love you, Alex. You're a great guy, and so glad that we could do this.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It has been an honor and a privilege. I love you as well. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments, but only if you did. We don't need your negativity. Okay. What? Also, if you get pub subs, let me know what your pub sub is, because I don't live near one and I'm very interested in what it could be.
I think you forgot something, Hugs.
Oh snap! What did I forget? Did I forget something?
The final question.
Oh snap! I was just my bad. So we started talking about other stuff. And then whatever. I need this from you. I cannot possibly end the show without receiving this, which is the final question. I need a recommendation. I need someone who's interesting, who would possibly be on an episode of G2KAPA, preferably maybe even someone I don't know as well as I know you, because you and I, obviously have talked much in the last many years. But one person, many people, a collaborative of people, a murder of crows.
I mean, I don't think they'll murder you. Hopefully not anyway. I have 3 names for you. 2 of which I've already shouted out once. One is Jamie, one of my closest friends. You know him adjacently, but he has so many things to tell. A second one, Cats with Dice, another person, he has some interesting stories. He has lived a very interesting life, and I feel like you two would get to know each other quite well. The third one we also know, but not as much, because this individual has done art for both of us. Cat,
Oh,
Magic Cat.
yeah.
Uh,
Okay, very cool. Yeah, did Twitch what do you call them? The emotes.
yep.
Yeah, heck
Uh,
yeah.
she did all my emotes, my background for my stream, which I used exactly twice. Um, like she's a phenomenal artist. Like I feel like she would also be really interesting.
Avid Dead by Daylight player too, and a very sweet person. So we'd have a lot in
Absolutely.
common. No, that's a great. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that is a great one. I'm gonna write these down. Cats. So I was hoping you would recommend because I'm like
Mm.
Cats was dope. But those are
All
good. I like
all
that.
three have permission for me to shout them out here, so
Okay.
no sues.
Well, I was gonna say, and then Jamie, he and I can get wild. Jamie's a wild man.
100%.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I like that. All right. Just writing those down there so I can ask them in the future and I won't forget. Even though I could watch this back, why not type it now while we're on here? I'm a professional, right?
Fight smarter, not harder, man.
Make sure, like the video, okay? Comment more questions that I can ask Alex in the future because he absolutely will be on. And I don't know, tell us cool stuff too. I want to hear what you think about D&D and about the random things we talked about. Comment the stuff and make sure when Alex starts making content again, you'll be seeing it. We'll be pushing it out. You guys need to go watch it. Support your local Alex. All right, we love you guys. See you next time.